It's Thanksgiving week, and here at Let's Talk, the biggest topic on our minds is food. This week, 6 very amateur bakers have accepted a Let's Talk challenge to create holiday treats that will refresh others. Proverbs 11:25 says, "The generous will prosper, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." The challenge this week will be to make tasty and shareable holiday treats. Bakes must have a punny name, require no actual baking, and perhaps most difficult of all, remind our bakers to do well spiritually over the holidays. Let's get ready to bake.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk with your host, Cooking with Christian. Tonight we're going to talk about Let's Cut to the Cheese, a thrifty Thanksgiving throwdown for a spectacular spiritual spectacle brought to you by Let's Talk. Since it's Thanksgiving week this week, we thought we changed it up a little bit and do something different. So we have our 3 couples here, and we're going to be cooking tonight our favorite holiday dish in a short amount of time. So, are you guys ready to make history?
Ready.
History in the baking.
Yes.
All right. On a count of 3, we'll begin cooking, and I'll be judging you very harshly. Ready?
All right.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, over here we have the lens. What will
Hello.
you guys be making today?
We are making what we like to call homemade sesame rice balls.
Oh, nice.
Yep,
Okay.
and it's much shorter in Mandarin, which is called tangyuan. It's basically something that a sweet treat that made of rice flour with
Nice.
filling inside, and it's something that we like to eat when there's family reunion.
Nice.
And so, you know, the word yan is like it's also meaning circle. So when the family are together, sit in a circle.
Oh, that's
You
deep.
know,
Wow.
so it's a reunion, family reunion type of treats.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like
Sounds
that.
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be baking them, frying them?
No, so we're gonna be making fillings
Yep.
in the food processor,
Making the
and then
dough.
we're making the dough,
Nice.
and then once they're both done and properly chilled, we'll be boiling in hot water.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a warm winter dessert.
Sounds good.
Yep.
I love all desserts. Warm and How are the holidays usually for you guys with your family? How's it like?
So I would say for me holidays are usually can be difficult as I'm the only person here and family are overseas, and so most of the time I typically hang out with some of the families like their chiffonade most of the holidays, and now with Shree's family as well.
Nice.
But it can be hard. And so what I like to do is go around, enjoy the food, enjoy the festivities, cooking together, serving, all that. But by the end of that, say, you know, either the Friday or the Saturday after Thanksgiving, it's usually kind of where the reality sets in. And I start feeling sad. Like, man, I miss doing that with my own family. And so it can easily turn to from something that's really happy to something kind of sad. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
Okay. What about you, Sheree? What's your
Yeah, well,
experience?
for me, I love the holidays, but usually I work at a school, so I'm used to getting breaks. And I like to take my breaks
Yeah.
and do what I want to do.
Right.
And so I know last holiday, I was getting mad at Vince because he was like trying to have me schedule in like just normal life things, like changing my name after being married for 2 years and doing
How dare you. How dare you.
I know my application to go back to school, and so for me over the holidays it's easy for me to want to avoid the things that make me stressed out or anxious. And so I can just want to run and do whatever's fun, fill up my, time with that instead of like filling up with God. So that's how the holidays can be for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. We both have go to other places to fill our hearts instead of God, right?
That's what I did.
Yeah, so instead of having God fill our hearts, it's usually something else. Try to occupy my own heart versus God.
In Ephesians 3:17 through 19, it says, "Then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. And may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep his love is. May you experience the love of Christ, though it is too great to understand fully. Then you will be made complete with all the fullness of life and power that comes from God." We have this quote in our house. It says, "Home is wherever I'm with you." And I think that's a really good question to ask ourselves over the holidays. Do I get that sense of home just by being close to God? Because it's easy to do, the family traditions versus being, family with God and, filling up with him.
I think God is that ultimate family that we all long for. I think, with the recent pandemic stuff, I think a lot of people don't actually get to see their family, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been doing that most of my adulthood, but I feel like most people are actually experiencing things I've gone through, and it's a good reminder. I love the scripture, right? Because it does talk about, man, like when you understand and experience that level of love from God, you actually can have that fullness of life, right? And you can actually make others feel that way, right? So I think a lot of families that I've gone to their home over the holidays, they have done that for me because they've also experienced this.
Wow.
That's right.
That's really cool.
It's really easy to do the family traditions, right, on the holidays. It's really easy to do that family tradition and to feel like family together, which is fine. And we don't want to make you feel bad that you're staying with your family and having fun. But I think it's harder to want to make sure we're being a family with God too. I think God does a lot to trying to make us a part of his family, right? So I think on the holidays, probably one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is how do we make our time special with God, in the morning or throughout the day. How do we make that special? Not just our typical wake up in the morning, gotta go and read and pray and go do our next thing. But how do we make it special, especially on the holidays?
It's really I relate to that. Hi, Mike and Amy. What are you guys making today?
So we are making Keep Calm candy cane hot cocoa sticks.
Yes.
So if I eat it, it'll keep me calm.
There's no guarantees.
I don't know if that's gonna work.
You need a few.
You probably need at least a couple. But we did notice, so if you've been on Pinterest, you've definitely seen these, but you make, the chocolate on the bottom and then you freeze it and the candy cane is
Can't
there.
see it, but it's here.
Yeah, we're gonna freeze these little guys, and then when you pull it out, you can stick it in a mug of milk and you slowly wait and it melts and you got a cup of hot chocolate. So we tried it at home and it was cool because I think we expected it to be like a hot chocolate bomb, but it's actually very slow.
Right.
Which is good for us because we are not calm, slow people.
I like it because it forces you to slow down and just enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Right. So I was swirling, trying to make it go fast.
It doesn't work.
It's gonna melt.
Yeah.
How long it's gonna melt. So this was an appropriate dish for us.
Yeah.
Because my big thing on the holidays is I want to have all the memories. I want to go to get the tree and go do the Black Friday thing, even though we don't have money for anything. I just want to go do everything.
Stay in line, camping.
He really doesn't mind it. I really have a hard time with that kind of stuff. Crowds.
So we
and
inevitably, we get in fights like every year,
Yeah.
right? Because we have this really funny photo. It's like this picturesque. Amy and Emily, our daughter, said this fine, but
at the shopping center.
at the shopping center, right? It's
At
like,
the
oh,
fountain.
wow, it looks like you guys had, we got the Facebook likes check, but it was a total disaster, a huge fight.
Behind that was tears.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. You don't see the tears and the anger
You don't
on
see
the
it on
Facebook
the Facebook
photo.
photo.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
irritation,
real.
the long lines.
So as a reminder for me, okay, every year we get into this mess where we're getting in this fight because I want to go after and do it. I'm not thinking about what does my family need, right? Like what's
and what's going on? Why do I want to go after these things so much? So it was kind of so Amy found a good scripture because she's really spiritual. And she finds that
You need one of them in the relationship.
Yeah, and it really helped me. So maybe I'll let you do.
Psalm 37, 7-8. Quiet your heart in his presence and pray. Keep hope alive as you long for God to come through for you. And don't think for a moment that the wicked in their prosperity are better off than you. Stay away from anger and revenge. Keep envy far from you, for it only leads you into lies. So I think this stood out to me because I'm realizing that quieting my heart is a choice that I have to make, that I have to quiet my heart with God, and we have to decide to have spiritual priorities because it's very hard for us, even when it's not the holidays, to have spiritual priorities. Like, let's stay close to God and each other. And so we run because it's easier for us. It's easier than having deep conversations. It's easier than dealing with the anxiety. I have very high anxiety. It's easier to just run and do things and then realize like, oh, we're really empty. We haven't been talking. I'm not in, quieting my heart in God's presence. And then I love how the scripture says to keep hope alive, because there are things we hope for. Like we hope to be able to have a strong marriage. We hope to be able to inspire our daughter to want to have a relationship with God. We hope to make an impact and help people. But we have to do the work to quiet our hearts, to slow down, to take care of our marriage, to help each other have that hope in God, and not just run to the fun. Because sometimes that's what we try to do in the holidays is run to the fun. But the thing is that when we don't do the work to like slow down, then we end up angry and envious of everyone else we see on Facebook seems to be having such a great time, and it ends up it's just a big pitfall for us. So I think we want to work on slowing down and just being able to prioritize the right things. Yeah.
Nice.
Here we go.
Oh, nice.
That was beautifully said. I hope that the chocolate was as good as it was. We will see what's better.
Okay, so I think one thing you can do is to set aside time to identify what your soul need is, so to speak, right? So for me, like, I run after trying to create traditions. Like Amy gets on me every year because if we do any one thing, all of a sudden it's an annual Christmas tradition now, right? So one year we bought a little Christmas house, put it on the mantle or whatever. We don't have a mantle. But the IKEA cubby, and and she said, and she's like, "Oh, that's a nice house." And I said, "Annual tradition, Christmas tradition." And she's like, "Anything we do has got it. Why has it got to be a Christmas tradition?" And really, it's what's going on with me is, I long for these kind of moments, like these Christmas special things. So my soul need is really, I want intimacy, I want family, I want connections, I want memories, right? And so I'm gonna go after creating that in a superficial way if I'm not identifying like, hey, I feel like I want to be close, or I feel like I missed this growing up, or whatever it is. Like there's some reflection there that I got to do. Otherwise, it's going to come out in my actions in an unhelpful way, like with my family and my friends and stuff. So.
And I think one thing that's really important for us too is to plan special time for our marriage. Like it's so easy to plan all these other things in the holidays and not plan when are we going to sit down, have a cup of hot cocoa and talk about how we're really doing, and then quiet our hearts, and so that we can help each other have hope in God. And then for me, it's just making sure daily I have time where I quiet my heart with God, and I listen to the Bible, and I pray, and I slow myself down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds good.
Whoa.
So Christian and Michelle, what are you guys doing?
We are doing peppermint bark because I love mint and chocolate, and Michelle doesn't love mint.
I like chocolate.
I get to eat all of it.
And so we're getting a window into your marriage, right?
That's right. You actually did. You know who's the selfish one? Me. But yeah, on a serious note, I think I'm during the holidays, it's really easy for me to want to be comfortable, and to want to check out, similar to Cherie, work at a school, Michelle and I do, and we get a certain time off, and it's easy to be like, well, during this time I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna watch the Warriors win. I'm gonna eat all these snacks. I'm going to sleep in, and even the desire just to be comfortable, and to want to. Like, I deserve this break. I earned it. I worked hard. Now I can do nothing, and no one can tell me what to do. Funny thing is I do that throughout the year.
What was different?
There's no difference except I have more of an excuse, sort of. But
More snacks.
yeah, I know it's true. But I think even for like college students and teenagers, and when I was there, like it was easy to, I have winter break and I'm gonna go home and, my family's just gonna serve me. They didn't actually do that, but like, I want to just, there's food there and I want to sleep in and wake up whenever I want. And even the religious part of me is like, I'm not gonna see anybody. I'm not gonna interact really with anyone outside the house. I'm not gonna leave the house. So I think it's easy for me to think that, I don't even need to read my Bible and pray. I'm like, why? I'm not gonna do anything. Which I feel like for me that definitely exposes two things. Cause I think like it just shows like how religious that is. Like our relationship with God can be just, oh, I did it.
Yeah, right.
And two, it's just setting me up for failure. Because if I neglect God, I'm automatically just gonna be selfish at home or anywhere I go.
Right.
So I was joking about the peppermint bark, but it's true. I'm the selfish one. So yeah.
Well, I think my selfishness comes out in a different way. I like to control everything during the holidays. So I can feel that I have to make the perfect holiday to kind of, same heart of I want to feel good, but I want to have the perfect holiday, whatever the perfect holiday means. And the guilt can start to sink in too with like the relatives that I haven't kept up with and I'm going to see them and so I can want to make up for things of my guilt during the holidays. And if I create this perfect, event, it'll be awesome. Or if I get the perfect gift, so I can put it, my sister Kim is amazing at gifts during the holidays. So thoughtful. Every year I'm like, if I could just keep up with Kim during the holidays. But so I think for me,
homemade.
But I think for me, I go into control mode because I think that's what's going to bring, the closeness and relationships and what's really going to make me happy and comfortable. And we had a Philippians scripture, Philippians 2:1-4. It says, if you've gotten anything at all out of following Christ, if his love has made any difference in your life, if being in a community of the Spirit means anything to you, if you have a heart, if you care, then do me a favor. Agree with each other, love each other, be deep-spirited friends. Don't push your way to the front. Don't sweet-talk your way to the top. Put yourself aside and help others get ahead. Don't be obsessed with getting your own advantage. Forget yourself long enough to lend a helping hand. But I love that scripture, I think, especially during the holidays, because it says don't be obsessed with getting your own advantage. And I think for me, that's where my heart comes out. It's like obsessed with getting my own advantage and trying to make it perfect so I can feel happy after the holidays. In reality, it just leaves you sad, bitter,
tired,
really tired too.
And
that can come out in our marriage too. Last year, around this time, I was, the pandemic, not seeing family, and I was like, we weren't close. I was like, I'm going to plan the perfect date. I was on Yelp all week looking at, of course, food spots. Let me find the perfect food spot. I found a spot. And then I was like, I found a pumpkin patch that had twinkle lights. And I was like, this is good. I had this whole magical thing in my head. This is going to be so nice.
Foolproof.
Yeah. Reality, literally arguing the entire way down. 10 minutes into the dinner, I'm crying. The server's trying to take my order. I'm like, I need to go home. And I was like, no, I'm going to that pumpkin patch. We're going through Daly City in the fog. And we get to a parking lot with pumpkins. There was no patch or twinkle lights. No twinkle lights. So then it wasn't really good. We ended up having a really good conversation afterwards, and that's what actually brought the closeness. But I think that's just a sample of what I can do during the holidays.
So the pumpkin patch worked then.
It worked in a different way.
Pumpkin patch is awesome.
Yes.
Exactly. So having said all that, we decided to name our dish Give a Piece of Your Heart by sharing Peppermint Bark.
Nice.
The opposite of being self-indulgent during the holidays is to give and to serve, and that goes up against everything the self-indulgence in my flesh that I want to do. So I think practically the good thing would be to give, to serve, I think to plan ways that you want to give to your family or friends. Okay, I'm gonna call so-and-so and we're gonna talk just about how the day went. Okay, I'm gonna help around the house, you know, or, you know, make these dishes and be able to give them out to other people, you know. So
So we got you on camera saying you're not going to eat these then.
bloopers.
Yeah, I think another way to take an interest and actually care about people is, you know, the opposite of envying or making everything about yourself is to think of others and to think about, instead of envying someone, think about, you know, how can you actually love them and care about them this holiday? So with the family going in, already thinking about the questions you want to ask, you know, thinking, really caring more about the relationships and the conversations rather than the things.
Now, unfortunately, all things must crumb to an end.
You'll find links to all the recipes that we made today in the description so that you can make them for your friends and neighbors too.
And please smash that like button.
And remember to subscribe and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Always remember, life is what you bake of it.